Numbers are historically low right now. Inflation rising more than expected. It's now at 9.1%. That's the highest it's been since 10 months into Ronald Reagan's first term after 4 years of Jimmy Carter as president. Joining us now for more is Iowa Congresswoman and member of the House Budget and Appropriations Committees, Ashley Hinson. Congresswoman, great to see you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on, Rob.
Pleasure to have you back, Congresswoman. I'm with Christina Thompson as well. Congresswoman, I want to start with Janet Yellen. She was wrong on inflation. So were most of the so-called economists out there. The Wall Street Journal claiming back in January that we had an 18% chance of entering recession within 12 months. They were all clearly wrong. Do you think we're already in a recession right now?
Well, we're clearly seeing that pullback with our economy already. And everywhere I go in our district, our small business owners are raising that red flag for me. They're saying the first thing to go right on a Main Street business who sells maybe candles and gifts is that expendable income that Iowans and Americans have. So that's really starting to affect our Main Street businesses already. And the Biden-Pelosi agenda is clearly responsible for this. We had in our budget committee last year, the director of Office and Management and Budget come before us. We asked her then, are you considering inflation in any of these spending packages that you're putting forth? They said then it was going to be transitory. This year, what deja vu, they come before us again, and then they say, oh, we're going to expect a 2.3% inflation rate over the next 10 years. I don't know what rock they're living under, but it's certainly not what the American people are facing every single day. And it's a direct result of the Biden-Pelosi agenda here in Washington.
And a very big rock, too, I think.
I know. I don't know what rock they're living under either. But also the White House warning us before these prices came out, saying that, oh, inflation's going to be super high, blaming it on the Putin price hike. Messaging yesterday, they sent out this statement acknowledging that inflation is, quote, unacceptably high before saying it's also out of date. Congresswoman, what do you make of this pivot? Because it seems that they're just conveniently forgetting that prices were way higher than they were pre-pandemic levels, even before Putin entered Ukraine.
Right. This is just about passing the buck and a continued blame game. And that's exactly what we've seen out of this administration over the last year. We have 9.1% record inflation. Their solution is to talk about spending more money. We have record high gas prices. Their solution is to dip into our strategic reserve and send those barrels to China. I mean, you talk about an out of touch administration. This is exactly it. Republicans continue to offer solutions to the challenges facing our economy, the challenges facing energy production in the United States. I mean, unleashing energy production and lowering those prices at the pump is, I see, one of the quickest ways to help tackle what we're seeing with inflation. Transportation costs for goods and services are through the roof. I hear from truck drivers all the time who are saying it's costing them nearly $1,000 to fill up their tank. You talk about what that's doing to transporting the stuff we buy at the grocery store as consumers. It's driving all of those costs up, and they're getting passed on directly to the people who have to try to fill their grocery carts on a limited budget.
Yeah, Congresswoman, I think it's fair to say that if Joe Biden had entered office and kept those Trump-era energy policies in place, he'd be flying to Delaware tomorrow for the weekend and not Saudi Arabia. But he's going to Saudi Arabia. He's going to meet with the Crown Prince. What do you make of this trip? What are you expecting to come out of this trip?
Well, I think it's a slap in the face to the American people when we're going to our adversaries to continue to ask them to for oil when we've got great domestic energy available. We need to unleash American energy independence. This is truly a national security issue for our country, and we have those tools here at home. They're good paying jobs for American workers, and so that's why I don't understand why the president continues to, again, dip into our strategic reserve. We have American families paying on average 78% more for gas this year than they did last year. Talk about, really eating into a family's budget. They're spending all that extra money on fuel. And in a state like mine, where most of our communities are rural, people are driving 20, 30 miles to go to work. Again, that expendable income is really, really being pinched right now. So I think it sends absolutely the wrong message. Again, this is a continued blame game. Going to our adversaries for foreign oil isn't the answer. We should be unleashing domestic energy production today.
Congresswoman, let's talk a little bit about your state. You posted yesterday on Twitter saying that the Biden administration's economic agenda is failing families, raising prices, making daily life unaffordable for Iowans. The last thing Iowans need right now is more spending and tax hikes. What more stories are you hearing from these families? Because interest rates are rising, food is so expensive, gas is so expensive, families can't save money to be able to afford everyday items. What are you hearing from people in your state?
Right. Well, we're getting people continue to send us their pictures of their energy bills. Meanwhile, we're hearing about possible blackouts, right, for energy safety and security in our communities. People want to be able to rely on their energy and that their lights are going to stay on if they're paying more for their lights to stay on.
Right.
So people continue to send us pictures of those. You talk about summer vacations for families. I'm hearing from a lot of families in Iowa that are having to trim back on what they're choosing to do because those gas prices are so high, because hotel expenses are so high, or because they just don't have that extra room in their budget. So that is truly starting to impact our families in Iowa. And I continue to hear that everywhere I go in the district. So we'll continue to push back on that. Again, more spending isn't the answer. We're hearing these latest proposals for reconciliation that would raise taxes on our small business owners.
Right.
Talk about an out-of-touch agenda. It's raising taxes
Yeah.
at a time when we're 9.1% record and high inflation.
Such a good point. And your tweet, by the way, I would be happy if gas was up 9.1% over where it was a year ago or inauguration day, or if food prices were up 9.1%, not 30, 40, 50% where they are right now.
Right.
Congresswoman Ashley Hinson, great to see you again. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Yep, thanks for having me on. Have a great day.